with you about the Waters of the U.S. rule. And when you gave your 5-minute testimony, you called it something new, Clean Water Rule. That was a new moniker that was given to that rule over the Christmas holiday by the administration, in full knowledge of the fact that that was always called the Waters of the U.S. rule, and the fact that it has been so thoroughly rejected by the people of this country caused this rebranding of the rule under a new name. Now, one of the reasons you are here today is because even though your agency's probably truly exhausted from the work you had to do on the omnibus, and I get it, you're a small agency, and that was an enormous piece of legislation. But the administration wouldn't even speak to Congress about the omnibus until we first agreed to strip from that bill all of the riders that had to do with policy, including our decision to not fund the Waters of the U.S. rule. And so the reason that this is such an important issue today is the position the administration took on that rule. Now, this rule is easily one of the top 10 worst rules that has been adopted during the course of this administration's term. In fact, so bad that a federal district court blocked the rule in 13 states, calling it an exceptionally expansive interpretation of federal jurisdiction that would irreparably diminish the state's power over their waters. It's so serious that the Sixth Circuit Court of Appeals expanded the stay to cover the whole nation. This rule has the whole nation up in arms, which is why we want more information about it. Now, on March 3rd and May 12th, we asked for information from you about this rule. And as of June 4th, no documents were produced. The May 12th letter signed by the chairman and the gentleman to my right, Mr. Meadows, no documents were produced. So the committee subpoenaed these documents and requested all documents and communications referring or relating to the rule by July 28, 2015. Now, a few documents were produced, many of which were just a printed copy of the rule. October 28th, a letter was signed by the chairman, Mr. Chaffetz, Mr. Meadows to my right, Mr. Jordan, who was here earlier, and myself, and there has been no response. That's the reason you're here today. We are frustrated that when a rule that is this expansive and this provocative of states' rights is promulgated, and the administration won't even talk to us, to Congress, and the bipartisan opposition and bicameral opposition to this rule, and having all those states sue to have it stayed, that we can't get the information we're requesting about how this rule came about from the get-go. So now my question, Ms. Facile, has OMB searched the inboxes of all OIRI staff who worked on this rulemaking?
As part of our search process, we are in the process of going through all of the documents related to the review of the Clean Waters of the U.S. rule, the Waters of the U.S. rule, and we are in process of that. As the request came in, it was for a 9-year period from June of 2006 to July of 2014, I believe, and so we are going through that. You mentioned—
How many custodians have you identified?
I don't have that information. I'd have to take that back.
And I would like to request, how many have you identified to date? That's a request for information again. Have you asked all OIRA staff to produce copies of documents related to the Waters of the U.S. rulemaking?
The search process has gone through, identified custodians. I do not know exactly who those are. That's just not part of what I do. I can find that out.
And so I'm requesting that too, because we want to know whether the OIRA staff has documents related to the WOTUS rulemaking. We want to know if they have produced all potentially responsive documents for review.
As I said before, this is an outstanding request. We are continuing. We certainly have not produced all documents, and we are committed to continuing.
Well, pursuant to those 4 earlier requests, I renew those requests, Mr. Chairman, and yield back.
Are you committed to providing all of those documents?
We're committed to providing the committee the information that it needs.
Well, we determine what we need. So the question is, are you going to provide all the documents?
We certainly all.
Why isn't that a simple yes? You can't say yes to that?
We are committed to getting the committee the information it requested. We certainly are committed to going through all of those documents. There is a process that is longstanding practice between this administration, other administrations, to make sure that the documents are relevant, to make sure that the documents adhere to privacy concerns. All of the information we've given you so far has been complete without redactions. We're committed to continuing this process.
I want to know if you're committed to giving us all the documents, yes or no?
We are committed to getting you the information that you need and producing documents and continuing to produce documents and to working with your staff.
Why can't you just say yes or no? Are you going to give us all the documents we asked for, yes or no?
I mean, part of the problem is I personally don't know what the universe of all the documents is. We are committed to getting you the documents.
When?
We have increased our production response rate. I expect that will continue.
I mean, you had enough information that you actually produced a rule. So why can't you provide those underlying documents to Congress?
As the Congresswoman pointed out, this rule is under litigation. That increases the amount of work that needs to be done in terms of producing documents. We are committed. I expect that we will be able to continue to produce documents, that we will be able to produce documents this month or next month in short order. And we're committed to work with your staff on that.
When is it reasonable to give us the document? What date? I'm looking for a date.
I can't give you a date certain because the breadth of the subpoena is so broad, but I can commit that within the next month we will produce more documents.
Wow. This is what we're up against. All right, well, now